think we're live. I think we might be live. All right, welcome back to Blam Blam Truckers, the only place where truckers can blam their blams. I'm Bees, solo video about the Necro, or the Necro. I don't know why people pronounce it that way, but it is annoying and amusing. So the Necromancer. Where do they fit into groups? They fit in very well is where they fit in. They are stupid powerful, they're broken, they're arguably the best soloer in the game. They're not, they can't quad. But they are fun. And they are overpowered. For classic. Alright, let's get into it. So I'll talk a little bit about soloing, not a lot. Mostly I'm focused on groups and how to pick what class you want to play based on the roles it fills in a group. There are 6 rolls, 6 rolls, 6 rolls, jelly rolls, thunder rolls, cinnamon rolls. They're just 6 wonderful rolls. There's the classic 3 for all MMOs: damage, healing, tanking. Then there are the 3 for EverQuest. They're not exclusive to EverQuest, but they might as well be. Debuff and buff, buff, debuff, however you want to put that. Buff, debuff, don't buff, debuff, baby. Buff, debuff, just buff, debuff over. I'm such a dork. Pulling and crowd control. The Necromancer can do them all. What? Yes, they can do them all. They have the spells, they have the build, they can do all of them. They are best known for damage in raids, damage while solo, okay damage in groups. When I say they make more damage in raids than in groups, it's because most of their damage comes from damage over time spells, which in a group, you're probably going to kill the mob faster than you're going to have that spell go off. You do have some decent DDs, direct damage spells, and you're really a damage class. You also get undead charm. So, like druids, enchanters, and bards, enchanters being the kings of charm, and crowd control, you can use that overpowered ability right now. In Classic, on TLPs, Charm is a ridiculously powerful spell. The charmed pets, the NPC pets, do absurd damage and have an absurd amount of hit points. You buff them up, you throw some haste on them, they'll probably kill you when they break. Well, not probably. I mean, there's a less than half chance it'll happen, assuming you can catch the break and you're not overwhelmed and everything works out for you. That's not reassuring, is it? No, it's not supposed to be. You will get killed by your pet if you're doing undead charming. It's not a matter of if, it's a question of when. So, yeah, you have dots, you have direct damages, you can weaken your target, you can strengthen your group poorly. You're like, out of the 6, that is the one that is the worst. That is your weakest spot, is buffing, debuffing. And I say that knowing full well that Necros should never, ever tank from just the sheer stats and spells and armor class. Yet they're pretty amazing at it when they want to be. And under the right circumstances. They're ridiculous. All right, so we're going to go through this. We're going to go over this. The reason why you are an amazing solo class is because of all the control you get. You get a mez. You get root. So you have root. You have mez. It's the worst mez in the game. Having said that, it still lets you handle more creatures than Bard Mez does, though Bard Mez is just better. Bard Mez doesn't last as long. That's its problem, but it's pretty amazing in and of itself. It takes less time to cast. It's just a better series of spells. Anyway, you have the worst mez in the game, which still gives you a mez. You have root. I said root already. Do you have stuns? I don't know if you have stuns or not, but you have snare, and you have fear. Now, the combination of fear and snare, as we talked about with bards and we talked about with druids, allows you to, I don't know if we talked about it with druids, allows you to fear kite. Druids can only fear kite animals because they can only fear animals. They can snare anything, but they can only fear animals. With your snare and your general fear, you are, many consider, the king of soloing. I don't. I think that's wizards and druids for quad kiting, but you're very impressive. I love playing Necromancers, and I hate playing Necromancers. I don't think I ever quite got the hang of it for soloing. Even though there were times I'd be out there. This is what the problem is. There's times I'm out there and I've got 5 or 6 mobs running around feared, and I survive it. And then I get up to the same level and I just miss 1 or 2 little things and I end up getting killed. But I could juggle 5 or 6 mobs, and I never quite got the hang of it. I could do it 2 or 3 times in a row, and then the 4th time I'd screw it up. That's right, 5 mobs running around in an outdoor zone, my level, or slightly above or slightly below, so dark blue and yellow cons. Occasionally a red con, and I'd just go to town and do what I had to do. Fear kiting is easy. I'll explain it to you. First, you get the snare on. First, you get yourself sped up, either by getting on a horse, clicking your J boots, or having someone cast so on you, or cast it on yourself with a shaman potion, Blood of the Wolf. The easiest, quickest, fastest way to do this, because horsies aren't in the game until Luckland, is to go to the East Common Tunnel. It's not the East Common Lands, it's just the Common Lands now. Go to the Common Lands Tunnel on the east side of the zone. Find a shaman or a guildie or whoever who will sell you some Spirit of the Wolf potions and buy them. For a couple hundred plat, which is less than what it costs to do J-boots and you don't have to do a quest, you can cast so on yourself whenever you need to. A stack of Blood of the Wolf potions is what, 10, 20 potions, and more than half an hour apiece. And unlike J-boots, which is stuck at about the equivalent of a level 9 so, these potions will go off at the same as if you were being cast by whatever level you are. So if you're level 10, you cast it as a level 10 so. If you're level 1, you cast it as a level 1 so. And if you're level 50, you cast it at max speed. Yay, max speed! So first you get yourself a so, then, or some kind of speed enhancement, then you get the mob snared. You don't have to pull with snare, but you might as well. Then you get as it's coming to you, because hopefully you pulled from snare at maximum range, it's coming to you, you start dropping dots on it. You get ahead of it like you're kiting. Kite means you pull the mob behind you. You get ahead of it a couple of times, you drop 2 more dots on it, or 1 to 2. You want 2 to 3 dots on it to kill it without. And this depends on if it's blue or it's yellow and how good your dots are this level, because you don't get dots every level. So you want 2 to 3 dots on a mob. Once you get the number of dots on it that you know you need to kill this particular mob, which you learn from trial and error, you hit it with fear. Fear turns it and makes it run away from you, and then you sick your pet on it. You may or may not sick your pet on it. That's sick your pet on one of them, because you're going to be, if you're juggling, you're going to do this with 2 or 3 mobs. I don't suggest going over 2, and I don't suggest going over 2 till you get it with 1. When you got it with 1, do it with 2. When you got it with 2 and it's down and it's working, do it with 3. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I went all the way up to 5 and 6, which is crazy, and would burn through my entire mana bar, and I had no leeway whatsoever, which is probably, now that I'm thinking about it, why I kept dying. I didn't have enough money, enough mana left over to, what do you call it? Feign Death. Another reason why Necros are overpowered. They get Feign Death. It's not nearly as good as Monk Feign Death. Boy, did we talk about that. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys! Hi, where is he? I am Bone Crusher, and I got to stand in as a Ixar monk because I have a tail. Yay! You guys remember that? Did you watch the monk video? Go watch the monk video. All right. The second one, monkeying around, not, or hey, hey, we're the monkeys. Whatever one it is. So anyway, that's what soloing looks like. Your mobs will die. You'll get the experience. If you can keep yourself to 2 or 3, you can do this. You can level quite quickly on your own and be bored out of your mind like I was. I really appreciate the class, but that's soloing. We're not here for soloing. We're here for grouping. Damage is what you're known for, ironically. You come into the group and you can do everything. So you have, at 18, you get Screaming Terror, or whatever it's called. Let's scroll down a little, shall we? You guys like to scroll, right? I hope you do, because we're doing it now. Oh, look at us go. Oh, we're scrolling fools. Where's the 18? There's the 14. There's the 16. Oh, here's 18. Oh, I was wrong. It's not 18. What is it, 20? Doobie, doobie doo. Harm shield's at 20. Maybe it's 16. Maybe it's 17. 16. Restless Bones. Feigned Death. That's at 16. Feigned Death is awesome. Wow, I cannot find it. Screaming Terror. It's very early on. It shouldn't be. It's not this early, though. It stays with you the whole game, but... Well, not the whole game, but all of Classic. Am I just not the one seeing it? Am I not seeing it and you guys are? Track Corpse, Expulse Undead, Shadow Vortex. That's not a bad spell. Not very useful for you, but it's not a bad spell. Screaming Horror, maybe? Wow. It is later than I thought. I have to go back and fix other videos, or just do a general apology now. Alright, we're going to do the actual search. Screaming Terror, level 22. Hey, you get an upgrade in level 126. Alright, we're going to right-click that. We're going to hit the back button here. Screaming Terror. It has a 1% chance to Memblur. It is a Mesmerize. It works up to level 55. It stays with you a long, long time. And it is level 22. Let's see if we can find it over here at 22. Doobie. Oh, we're back to the scrolling. You guys love the scrolling. Look how exciting that is. I can tell from all the comments you're not leaving how much you love the scrolling. Screaming Terror, 22. Right there. Yay! Looking at the stats, it lasts 18 seconds. Where is it? Doobie. 6.5 second recast time. Mana cost 60. And it lasts about 18 seconds. So it takes 6.5 seconds to cast. It lasts 18 seconds if you do the math. Now, also, you can speed up your spell casting with... is it concentration? I forget. But you get a skill that speeds up your spell casting. It's why paladins will never be as good as druids for healers, even though they have the same spells, because druids get skills that help them cast cheaper and faster. Anyway, you speed it up past 6... no, that's the recast time. That's not the casting time. Casting time is 2.6 seconds. Recast time, you can't change that. That's your cooldown, 6.5. Maybe you can change that. I don't know. I wouldn't know how off the top of my head, and I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm trying to tell you about this. You can keep roughly 3 mobs up. So, I guess you are as good as a bard. I take back everything I said about this being, about bards not having a better mez. Bards have a better mez. Anyway, Screaming Terror, it will keep 3 mobs going for... It will keep 3 mobs mezzed for ever, till you run out of mana. And you don't run out of mana. So let's talk about that. If you're going to be a necromancer, you want to be an Ixar necromancer. And I'm not saying this because I'm a dork. And I'm like, oh, I really think XR aren't the best. Look at the stats, they're not the best. They're just not. But they get regen. They're the only race to get regen. And that regen offsets the way you make mana. You trade hit points for mana. It starts at like level 5 or 6 or 8 or something. Where is it? I think I would have been more prepared, but honestly, this week wiped me. Just beat me up. I've put in too much time for work. I'm looking forward to that paycheck, though. Dark Pact, level 6. See? 6. Increase mana by 2 per... Can you even see that? Where are you guys? Just barely. No, not at all. Let's bring it up here to the next to this ad for... Are you kidding me? We're fighting gingivitis. We are fighting gingivitis, folks. Level 6, Dark Pact, right here. You can see that? You can. Look at my cursor. It's so beautiful. Increase mana by 2 per tick. Decrease hit points by 3 per tick. It gets more efficient as you go. And it doesn't last very long, but the next one will last a little bit longer and be more mana efficient. And the next one will last a little bit longer and be more mana efficient. The reason why Ixar is so powerful, is so chosen as Necros, is because your regen, your standing regen, which we talked about with the monk, is at like 14 points or 12 points at level 60. That means you get 12 hit points every tick. Every time this Dark Pact goes off, it's going to do so many. And that's at level 60, not at level 1. At level 1, you get like 2 hit points per tick. But if this is taking 3 hit points per tick and you're getting 2 hit points per tick and the regular Necros only get 1 hit point per tick, well, that makes you twice as good at dealing with this, doesn't it? You are less likely to kill yourself through your Dark Pact line of spells than every other race. It gives you an advantage. It just does. Necros. XR make the best Necros. Sorry, guys. As much as I love a Dark Elf Necro and love the lore behind it, and a Gnome Necro, gnomes are so cute and short, and I love not having them being short so they don't take up as much room. That's great. And, of course, Erudite Necros, which are fantastic. Look at that int in the mana pool. Wow. But your health regen impacts your the amount of mana you have on hand at any given time more than your int does. And it wouldn't seem like that, but the faster you regrow the mana, the faster you regen the mana, the more mana you're going to have on hand. That's part of the way it is. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's just life as a Necro, life as a Shaman. We'll talk about that when we get to Shaman and their very obnoxious cannibalized line. Un momento, I need a drink. So wet, so cooling. All right. So that's how Necros get their mana. It ends up being better than Clarity. It stacks with everything but Clarity. So it's your choice. Do you want to be watching your health while you're fighting, or do you want a Clarity when you're in a group? But that's, again, it's self-only. You're not really built to help people in groups. You don't have a lot of great buffs. You get a few. You can invis verse undead, which is nice. And you can give other people part of your strength. You can give other people part of your armor class. And you can give people part of your health and part of your mana. It's nice. It's not as good as anyone else. Like I said, buffing, debuffing is what you're worse at. You do, however, at level 10, start getting the Scent of Dusk line. Let's take a look at that. And Scent of Dusk, where are you at? Yeah, we're there. You can see this, right? Increase poison counter by 1, so it's a poison-based debuff. Decrease fire resist by 1 to 10. Decrease poison resist by 1 to 10, and decrease disease resist. So you are attacking fire, poison, and disease, which helps out you, mages, wizards for the fire. For the poison, that helps out you and shaman and shadow knights. And for the disease, that helps out you and shaman and shadow knights. Rogues, if they're poisoning their blades, anybody else who has a poison or disease-based attack. And the warrior aggro ability, Provoke, is disease-based. So it lands 99.9999% of the time anyway, but if you have this lineup, you're helping them with that too. So you are helping yourself, other people, and whatnot with your debuffs here. Some of your dots have debuff access too, and you can snare. Your snare is fantastic. So when you're in a group, in general, so that's buffing, debuffing. We talked about that. It's not great. It's not bad, and it's useful how it adds its stacks. But nobody's bringing a Necro in to debuff. No one's bringing a Necro in to buff. IVU is about invisibility versus undead. IVU is about the only thing that you're actually going to be asked to buff until you get Dead Men Floating. Dead Men Floating gives you a ridiculous amount of poison resist, levitate, and underwater breathing. So people are going to be asking for Dead Men Floating a lot, but they're not inviting you to the group just because you have Dead Men Floating. Your buffs and debuffs don't bring you into the group. Your damage does. You have a pet. If you drop your pet, because you're fighting undead, you can get an undead... Oh, a wrong finger in America. You can get an undead charmed pet. An undead charmed pet is ridiculously powerful. You have a mez. It fires off pretty quick, 2.6 seconds. You can get them... If charm breaks, you can mez them. You can... Well, you can't really debuff their magic, but... You can hit them with Scent of Dusk in that line and feel like you're doing something. But you charm them, and you can, when the charm breaks, you can hypnotize them with Screaming Terror, recharm them, and get them back into the fight. You have enough time to do that. And charm pets are ridiculously powerful. So you can charm pet, you can dot damage, which you generally don't want to do in groups except for your snare, which once you get to like your level 30 snare, the decreased movement doesn't get any better after that. It just adds more damage, which is nice, but you're not putting the dot on them for the damage. In this case, you're doing it for the snare. Save the mana, put on the lowest level dot. I think it's Boiling Blood. That does the highest snare. You're in a group. But you've got wizards in the group. You've got rogues in the group, rangers in the group, monks in the group. You have... your tank. All of them are doing direct damage while you're doing damage over time. There's a time to root rot. I will be talking about that, and that is incredibly useful. But you are there to do your direct damage line, which is fine. It's a perfectly fine line of spells. You also, one of them is Life Draw, and I think you get a poison. I know you get a poison direct damage, and you might get a fire direct damage. I don't remember off the top of my head. Your poison direct damage is it's a good spell. Notice how I dropped down to good. You're never going to be as mana efficient as a wizard for direct damage. And a wizard will never be as mana efficient as you are for total damage. But you get a life steal, life tap. You take the mob's life, you keep it for yourself. That's also how, before Ixar, you made up the life difference. So you're trading life for mana. You need more mana. You hit them with a life. You need more life to feed the mana drain, the mana boost from the life drain. You tap somebody. You have I haven't even got into your dots yet. You have like 6 lines. You have like 6 different dot lines. It's ridiculous. I told you were overpowered. And again, you don't need to charm pet. You have your regular pet. Your charm pet's going to do a lot more damage, but if you're tired or sick and tired of your charm pet breaking all the time, you just don't want to deal with it, throw in your pet. It's going to be less damage, but it's still going to be damage. And just because people want to be super efficient right now doesn't mean you're ready to do that. There's a player behind the screen, I swear. On almost every tune, there's one player. There may be half a player because he's doing 2. There may be a sixth of a player because she is doing 6, whatever. But there's a player behind every screen. Unless they're total bots, which I don't think we've got yet, but we might. I don't know. I don't bot. Don't break the end user license, folks. 24 minutes in. I'm barely into the class. All right. You're being brought into the group to do damage. We talked about the different kinds of damage you can do. Your dots are, check this one out. Heart Flutter at level 13. This is... I said you had a debuff line of dots. This is one of them. This might be the only one. I don't remember off the top of my head. But at 13, you get Heart Flutter. You decrease strength by 20. Decrease AC by 9. That's nice to have on there. You might want to cast this, whether you're doing it for the damage or not, just to help out your melee friends in the group. And you do damage, significant damage with this dot. You probably won't do it. I don't know how mana efficient it is for damage, but making the mob weaker with the debuff is something you should be considering. You have the option to do it. You are the Necro. Okay, so that's damage. Damage is nice. You're not just there for your damage, though. That's the main thing they bring you in. Nobody's pulling you in. Very rarely. Once in a while they'll pull you in for CC if you have a rep for being great at crowd control. They'll pull you in for that, especially your guild. All right, so we covered healing. You are a very weak healer. You can transfer your health to other people. That's what you do. Sometimes you do that. Sometimes it saves the group when the healer goes... So you're a backup healer, not a main healer. When the cleric runs out of mana, when the shaman runs out of mana, you're there to keep things barely functioning until the mobs are dead and we can get going again. You are. Yeah, you have a damage shield, but it only affects yourself, so that's kind of not getting you into groups. Notice how I didn't say useless. You have the cancel magic line, which you might be using if you're bored. You probably won't be. There's too many other things for you to do. Does this sound like the Bard at all? There's too many other things for you to be doing. So CC is not just your mez. It's the number 2 reason you're generally brought into groups. For damage is number 1. Number 2 is CC, crowd control. You have a mez. It is a good mez. It's the 3rd worst mez in the game, but it's better than everyone else except for bards and enchanters. You have root. You don't get it till the 30s, but you have it. And once you have root, you can do the root rot shuffle. So if you are root CCing, this is really cool. I did this with the shaman. I'll talk about it with the shaman too. You can pull... They bring in the mobs. You work your butt off. You get... hopefully they bring in 4. You want them to bring in 4. 4 is the limit of what you can control. Okay? 5 if you set your pet... If you turn on your pet's taunt and put it on a mob. But that mob is going to kill your pet if you leave it for too long. So... The reason why... Let's do the count. 1... That's the one that the tank takes, and the whole group focuses on one mob. Then you have 4 others, 3 to 4 others that you're dealing with. If you want to go to max, and I'm going to go through max and tell you why you shouldn't do this too. Because then this is the one, so 1 is off with the top. The thumb is off with the group. Then you have another one that you put your pet on. The pet will hold it for a moment. You don't have a lot of time here to do this. You're going to be taking hits while you do this. Okay? You can keep a maximum of 3 mobs mesmerized. You need to get your pet off that first mob that you took. Okay, so the group takes Thummy. Thummy's gone. The pet takes the forefinger. This is a temporary solution. Bear that in mind. This is going to keep you busy. You take 18 seconds to get these 3 guys mezzed. This guy is starting to break when you root this guy that your pet's on. Pull your pet off of him as soon as you get him rooted. Remez these guys, put a root on this guy, remez this guy, put a root on this guy, put a root on that guy, and then double dot, or go through and double dot them one at a time. And what that does, I'm not saying this is how you should do it. This is not how you should do it. You have 4 mobs now that are cooking on your dots while Thummy is getting killed. I would really only focus on 3 of them and make sure in advance before the pull, you tell that main assist, or tank, but the main assist, whoever's making the decision here, you tell them to take the guy with the highest hit points when he's deciding to break one off of root, because you also want to spread them around a little bit so they're all not within melee range of each other. This is not easy. I'm not saying this is how you should do it. In fact, this isn't how you should do it. This is really complicated. But you can do this. I have done this. So he takes the one with the highest number of hit points. Probably this guy. What that's going to do is it lets your dots still cook. So they're sitting there rooted and dotted. So I got 2 Decepticons here, rooted and dotted. And they're just sitting there getting rooted and dotted and dying while my group is off. Well, I got Optimus Prime, the ultimate tank over here, fighting one particular mob with the rest of the group. With, Sunstreaker and Hound in the background shooting him. Or do whatever. Whatever. Did that make sense? I'm going to go over it again. They bring in 5 mobs. 5. This guy, Thummy, the group takes. While they're taking him, as they just even get started on him, you set your pet with taunt on this guy. You mez these 3. Takes 18 seconds. Your cast time is 2.6 seconds on Screaming Terror. That's less than 3. These guys are mezzed. You then get a root on this smelly guy, pull your pet off, and let him go sit and have a beer. Because he's probably at least half dead, probably more. Don't worry about him. This is your regular pet, not your charm pet. You don't want to try and do this with a charm pet. Charm pets don't get taunt. And take taunt off your pet too if you're fast enough. Remez these guys. Takes you 18 seconds. You're going to take some hits. Root this one. Remez these. Get a dot. Whatever time you've got to play with. You don't have a lot. Root this guy. Remez these 2. Keep an eye on them. You're clicking through your X targets here. Get a rough eye, and if you hover over their mez, it'll tell you how much time you got on it. If you have time, dot this guy. Root, mez. So now you're down to 1 guy left mezzed who needs a root. You can wait. This is not easy. Dot this guy. Dot this guy. Root this guy. Dot this guy. Get a second dot here if he needs it. At this point, they're probably looking to pull one of your mobs. Let them take this guy. Don't even bother dotting him. If they're ready to take it, take him. Take the full health guy. You guys deal with the full health guy. I'm working on the others with my dots. Dot this guy. Dot, and then keep them dotted. Keep them rooted. And as they're done, if you're smart and you're coordinated and you work this out, this is high-level stuff. This is not stuff you're going to be doing day 1 as a Necro. It takes practice. It takes timing. It takes muscle memory on your clicking and your keyboarding, okay? Clicking and your mousing and your keyboarding. You're mousing away, your keyboard, oops, I hit the back button. Now we'll hit the forward button. Oh, that was so exciting. Just like in the movies, the way he uses his mouse by accident. Oh, it's impressive. It takes time and practice and muscle memory. You're not here on day 1. You're not going to have it. You're going to have to practice. That is the best you can do within the time constraints of what we're dealing with here for your spells. It's 5 mobs. You probably only want to handle 3. Keep it simple. Or 4. Keep it simple. With 4 mobs, Thummy comes in. Optimus Prime grabs that guy. Hi. I'm Optimus Prime. This is not my normal voice. Let's see if I can do it. I'm so dry and just beaten from talking all day at work. 1 shall stand, 1 shall stand, 1 shall fall. Autobots, 1 shall stand, 1 shall fall. Why? Hold on. Why throw away your life so recklessly? That's a question you should be asking yourself. Peter Cullen took John Wayne as his main inspiration for Optimus Prime. All right. This is what a normal pull should look like. They bring 3 to 4 mobs. Hopefully 2. With 2, it's easy. They take the main one, you root rot the second one. That's it. You may, assuming the second one is a ranged mob. All of that 5 thing there, that was based on them being melee mobs. If they're ranged mobs, then you can't root rot them in a group. You can't. I'm sorry. They will continue to do damage to the enchanter and the cleric. Well, to you and the cleric. It's just bad. All right. So let's go over this. They bring 4 mobs. They take 1. He's off with Optimus Prime and the boys. Mez, mez, mez. If they're melee mobs, you can start doing the root rot thing. You don't have to. Instead, go back to the main mob and throw your heart flutter line of spell dots on him. And if you have anyone else in the group who would appreciate it, debuff him with your scent of dusk or scent of darkness spell line or whatever it's called. Then go back to see if anybody needs mana or anything. Go back, make sure these guys are boom, boom, boom. Keep them. And you're going to do it one at a time. So he's off fight. We're going to use the thumb here. No, the screen's too small. Great, here we are. He's off fighting Optimus. Okay. Mez, mez, mez. Going to keep it simple. You don't have time for anything more than that. So mez, mez, mez. Heart flutter dot line on him. Mez, mez, mez. Scent of dusk. He's probably dead at that point, by the way. That's 30 seconds. Mobs only last about 20 to 30 seconds against a group. Next guy. So these guys are over here. Now the group's fighting him. Mez, mez. They fight him. You get your heart. Once they break Mez and they grab aggro off of you, and if you get too much aggro, you can feign death. Once they grab aggro off of you, great. Hit him with heart flutter and keep these two mezzed. Send in your pet, by the way. That's the other thing you can do. So this guy is getting grabbed by Optimus and gang. Send your pet over there, whether it's a charmed pet or a regular. If you're charm petting, you don't have time to dot. If you're crowd control and charm petting, you don't have time to dot. You're handling CC. Your damage is your charmed pet. But yeah, that's what Necro group life really looks like. Otherwise, it's just you sitting there shooting Poison Bolt, which is a spell line you get at level 4. That is your increased... No, not Poison Bolt. When do you get your DD line? It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. You'll figure it out. You'll see it when you get it. All right. Feigned Death. Your Feigned Death is worse than the Monk's Feigned Death. I don't mean that in a bad way. It has a higher chance. It's better than everyone else's. It has, except for Shadow Knights, which get the same thing. Channeling. Channeling is the skill that speeds up your casting time. All right. Your Feigned Death. Well, let's bring it up. It's level 16. You actually get it one level before monks get theirs at 17. Feigned Death. Oh, it's so exciting. 87% success rate, which means it only works 87% of the time, which is a lot, but 13% of the time it fails. Monks can get theirs up to over 95% success rate in Classic, if I'm remembering that correctly. Cast time, 1.5 seconds. Not 1 second, 1.5 seconds. And recast time, 15-second recast time. Listen, your channeling is going to reduce your casting time, okay? That's nice. Get it down to 1 second, maybe less than that, but that's still infinitely longer than instantaneous with the monk. Now, instantaneous, we could get into the physics of it all and talk about quantum entanglement versus the speed of light, but we won't. It's effectively instantaneous. Effectively. Is instantaneous even a thing? No. Yes. No. Quantum entanglement. Maybe. But you got to wait 15 seconds to stand back up if you want to flop again after you stand back up. If it doesn't work, you can't flop again for 15 seconds. A mob will kill you in 15 seconds. They will. Anyway, just know those are the limitations of Feigned Death. Sorry, folks. It is sold everywhere, though, if that helps you. A lot of your spells aren't, including some of your pet spells. Screaming Terror is also sold pretty much everywhere. You can just go to your hometown and buy it. I really only covered 2 roles. I didn't cover pulling. I didn't cover tanking. Tanking, believe it or not, is pretty easy. Get your gear to the highest level of AC and stamina that you can. Hit them with a number of dots to really piss them off. But hit them with a couple of... To gain aggro. You're really pissing them off. To gain aggro, hit them with a couple of dots. Among those dots, you want your health stealing dot. You get a dot that steals health over time. You're going to then hit them with life taps repeatedly and you're going to do so much damage and you're going to be stealing so much health that you heal yourself enough to make up the difference in damage mitigation between a cloth class and a plate armor class. That's a lot. Necros can do it. Told you they were busted. That is how you tank. You do so much damage that you're way up on the aggro level. It's not easy. It takes practice. You're going to die while you're practicing. When you get it right, you won't die as often anymore. You're still going to need heals from your group healer. You are not invulnerable by any stretch of the imagination. But if you go in as a necro tank, you can tank. You got to be high enough level to offset that lack of mitigation from all of your life stealing. But you can do it. You can do it at level 60 in the highest levels in the highest non-raid zones in the game. We were up on the moon just this expansion, and one of the first groups I was in at level in my 50s was it wasn't Acrylia Caverns, but it was right in that area off Dawnshroud Peaks there, Maiden's Eye. And is it Maiden's Eye? I don't know. And we're in that zone, and this guy is, and granted, this is the next expansion. The moon! We're gonna go to the moon. Yeah, he did and he just solo. We were in there for 2 hours. He was tanking for us as a necro tank. You can do it. It's not something you need. You need the gear. You need to know what you're doing, which takes practice. You're going to die while you're practicing. That's part of the game. Not like in real life, where if you die, you're dead. Here, you just, respawn, lose some experience, hopefully get a res. We covered how you heal. You heal poorly, but often you heal in a pinch. Know you have the ability, and if you happen to have that spell memorized, if things start going bad in your group and things start feeling wrong, usually you know it long before, everybody starts dying. When everybody starts dying, you've usually had 20 minutes of things just not going, of not clicking, of not having synergy. Synergy is when it's like a gestalt. It's when the part is greater than the sum of the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. You'll feel it coming. With experience, you'll know it's coming. And you just happen to load in your healing spell, which trades your health for their health. It's not a great heal, but often Necros save the group with that. And then we sit down, take a 2-minute timeout, figure out what we're doing wrong, address it, and get back into the game. Boy, this is starting to sound like work. Anyway, you do get undead spells, like clerics do. You get an undead slow for their attack speed. You excel at dealing with the undead. You're the only... Oh, we have other things to talk about. 6 rolls. I told you how to tank. I told you about your weak healing that's usually critical when you need it. And I told you about damage. I told you about crowd control. We spent a lot of time on that. Then we have pulling, which I haven't covered at all. And we have debuff and buffing, and I covered that. So pulling, which once again is a wrong finger to be using in America, so we'll just use this one. You don't have all the skills you need for pulling, but you have a lot of them. So I think you can only lull undead. So you're great at pulling undead, but all other mobs you need to just pull with snare, root, mez, and feign death. Your feign death pulling stinks. It does. You can't flop like a monk. We were doing the flip floppity song yesterday. I said a flip flop, a flippy to the flippy to the flip flip flop. Sunstreaker did the flop for you repeatedly. Okay. You can't. You have a 15-second wait till you can cast it again. You can, however, tag the mob, run back to the group, flop outside of aggro range, Get all the mobs on you, flop outside of aggro range. Hopefully it works. It works 87% of the time. It works every time. My voice is still gone. What else? So just like I talked about with the bards, and I got to do it over because not everybody's going to watch the bard video. Who wants to be the necromancer? We'll make Hound the necromancer. You have two mobs, two bad guys here, two Decepticons. Bone Crusher and Megatron. Great. We like Bone Crusher and Megatron. Hound comes up, casts a spell, probably a dot. Not your snare. I know, you wouldn't think it, you'd think it would be the snare. You don't want the snare in this case. You hit one with the dot, he follows you. Both of them follow you. You get almost to the group, and you do your flop. If it works, they'll both come up to you, they'll stand there, and more. All the rest of them that do not have the dot ticking on them will walk away after about 5 seconds. Longest 5 seconds of your game life. Then, after another 5 to 10 seconds, the guy with the dot on him will start to walk away. You know what? Pull with the direct damage. Don't use the dot. Pull with the direct damage. Don't leave any chance, but it doesn't matter. He starts to walk away. When he starts to walk away, when those guys are out of aggro range, when his buddies are out of aggro range, that's when you stand up, unflop, and you run back in. You bring him to your group. Single target pull. Another thing you could do that other people can't do, except for bards and enchanters. You start running, and they start hitting you. You've got a group chasing you, right? Oh, I'm being chased by Decepticons. Turn around. Well, you don't even have to turn around. Stop and mesmerize one of them. It's only 2.6 seconds, slower as your channeling goes up. So you mesmerize Megatron. Megatron is standing there for 18 seconds. He's not doing anything but thinking about his navel. Oh, my navel, 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 navel. Doing some navel gazing. Oh, navel, 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 navel. Wait a minute. Transformers don't have navels. Navel means belly button. Meanwhile, while he's sitting there navel gazing, Bone Crusher is following you back to the group. Now let's say you're pulling Megatron and Optimus Prime and Bone Crusher. You mez Megatron, he stands there. You run for 3 seconds more, you mez Optimus. Now, they're staggered. One's close, one's far away, and Bone Crusher is still following you to the group. Yay! Bone Crusher is following you to the group. Everybody kills Bone Crusher. When Megatron's mez wears off, he comes to the group. When Optimus's mez wears off, he comes to the group. Bards are so much better at this. They don't have to stop to cast the mez. And their mez cast time is 1 second. What else is going on here? That's pulling in a nutshell. When you get back to the group, you're probably going to be doing crowd control anyway, unless you have an enchanter or a bard to do it for you. And if you have an enchanter or a bard to do it for you, if you have a bard to do it for you, why isn't he pulling? And you may still be dealing with other mobs. You may be doing chain pulling so that you never, ever stop fighting, which is a lot of fun if you like that sort of thing, which I do. We covered pulling, we covered crowd control, we covered damage. You have 3 different kinds of dots. We covered this with the druids. You have 3 different kinds of dots. You have a dot that starts off very small and gets very big, like Splurt. You have dots that start off with relatively high. I think it's your fire line. I would have to check, but I don't see any dots right here. Might be the poison line. Poison bolt in particular, I'm thinking of at level 4. Yeah, level 4. Poison bolt. So, no, not even poison bolt. Even with poison, your dot gets more powerful. So you have dots that start off with a decent initial amount of damage and then go up. Druids are the ones that have a high dot at the beginning and then it goes down for their damage over time. You have dots that go even the whole way. Figure out what your different dots do and use them as appropriate. Your leech dot, for instance, is one of those. Goes steady. What else? Oh, how to use flopping. The best way to use flopping. Look, you're a Necro. You have feigned death. If it works, there's no reason for you to ever die again, because you can always feign death. If things start getting hairy, flop. Go from fighting to flopping. If the tank drops and you're not the CC, I mean, help out with the CC, but if it looks like you're about to be the next one, that 5 mobs are all going to, as your group, you got your group here. I don't think I can hold this many toys all at once. There's only 5. This is a small group. Should be 6. All right, your group's here. The tank goes down. Bye, tank. No! Next is the enchanter, or the bard, or whoever's handling crowd control. Might be you, but they go down. Next is the healer. Why was Megatron the healer? Should have been Bone Crusher. Let's redo that. Next is the healer. Then they come after the 3 DPS. At this point, flop. They'll kill the other DPS, and you'll still be alive. Does that sound selfish? Yes. Should you feel bad about it? No. That's part of the game. And later on, in your 50s, you have the capacity to res. You're one of 3 classes that can res. Your res is the second highest percentage return in the game at 93%. Paladins cap out in Classic at 90. Clerics cap out at 96. Yours, however, has a component. It is called an essence, gem, emerald, stone, whatever it is. Maybe it's not called that at all. Maybe I'm completely off my hat. You have the essence. To get one of those, somebody who's level 40-something or higher has to sacrifice themselves, lose the experience, and never, ever get it back. There's no way to recover that experience except for fighting, and fighting more mobs for it. A lot of people, now this sounds like, how are you going to talk somebody into doing that for you? Because you can't sacrifice yourself. The answer to that, by the way, is pay them. Pay them a lot of money, and they will do it for you. In-game currency, folks. If you don't want to pay them, get in a guild, and anybody over who's hit level cap, they don't need all the experience that they've acquired after they hit level cap. It's not doing them any good until the next expansion comes out. So about 2 weeks after the expansion, after you start, after you've got level 60, they've got level 60, you can go up to them and say, hey, you got any extra experience floating around? They'll go, yeah, you want to. They'll know. If they don't, explain it to them. I need Essence Emeralds, or whatever they're called. I think it's Essence Emeralds. That's sounding right. I need them. And you've got all this experience. We're in a guild together. I promise to only use these, because you can use them for dots and a few other things. I promise to only use these for reses during guild wipes, during raid wipes. You don't even necessarily have to promise that, but you can just ask them and see if they'll say yes first. But that's how you get it. And so you sack them down to, 0% or a couple of percentage, enough so that they won't lose experience if they die. They won't lose their level if they die. So you sack them back down to 10%. If they're at 100%, that's 90%. I don't know how much each sack will kill them, but you sacrifice them down to repeatedly, and now you have Essence Emeralds. And you use those. You can use them for a number of things, but the main thing you want to have a supply for is resurrection. 93% res. It means you get 93% of your experience back. So when the entire raid has wiped, you saw it coming, you're smarter than you look, you ran down the hall, got out of aggro range, and you flopped. So you took the cowardly route, you ran away, strategically retreated. Advancing to the rear, you ran away, and you flopped. Brave Sir Robin ran away. No, he bravely ran away. No, brave, brave, brave. Brave Sir Robin. After you wait for the entire raid to die, your entire group, they all die, which is terrible. Then you stand back up. You go up to you invis yourself. You start pulling all the corpses back. But it's the first one you go to is one of the clerics, preferably one with a click stick, who can do a 96% res, and you res him with your Essence Emerald with your 93% res. He stands up from now. He's going to be doing all the reses. We don't want to waste those precious Essence Emeralds on other reses. You, on the other hand, you did gather shadows or IV invisibility and undead, whatever it is, whatever you're going in there to not draw aggro from. You go in there, you drag all the bodies out, and the clerics drag clerics first. You're going to have more than one. Start dragging clerics out, get them to a safe spot, start doing reses. Clerics res other clerics, then those other clerics res other people in the raid. Bam, you have your whole raid group up. It doesn't take too long. You save the day because you ran away. Because you bravely ran away. Yes, you bravely ran away. Brave, 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 brave. Brave Sir Robin. I'm watching my volume so I don't overpower the microphone. You have no idea how far away I am from full volume. I am a very loud person when I want to be. All right. Which is not most of the time. Click. What else am I missing about Necros that might make you want to play them? And specifically group with them. It's a group game. Solo, if you really love soloing, this is the class for you. This and Druids. What about Bards? Bards are great soloers, but that you gotta be ready to do all sorts of things as a Bard. As a Necro, you're basically there to do damage. Most people don't think of you as crowd control, even though you're the third best crowd control in the game. You're fantastic at it. A little bit of practice, a little bit of muscle memory, amazing. Most people don't think of you as a buffer debuffer, even though you're in there with all of your debuffs stacked with everyone else's debuffs. You aren't the best debuffer in the game, but you're there doing your debuffs. Like I said, the only dots you should be running in a group are the ones that are your... So there's 3 lines. I didn't cover all 6 lines of spells. There are 3 lines of dots you should consider running in the group. 1, your health dot. So you steal health from them, and you keep it for yourself. I prefer a life tap, which just does it. It's a direct damage. It's an instantaneous. You land it. You take that life. You're not worried about the dot because this dot will not run the whole length of the fight. But people use it and use it successfully, so I'm telling you about it. 2, your snare. This is the most important one for you to run. Unless there's someone else in the group doing snares, and if you have a Shadow Knight tank, they will be. And if you have a Ranger, they don't have to. They might be. If you have a Druid, they probably will be, because they always have to snare. There's only 5 classes that can snare. We just covered 4 of them, and Bards. And eventually Berserkers. I keep forgetting about Berserkers. All snares, your snare is overwritten by the Druid snare, which does more snaring and no damage. Talk amongst yourselves. It's a group game. You can communicate. Talk amongst yourselves. I really got to start doing some other voices. Talk among yourselves and decide in a dignified manner who's going to be doing the snare, because you can only have 1 snare and possibly a Bard snare, but they don't stack. Snare never stacks. Figure out who's going to be snaring. Let them snare. If the Bard wants to do it, just let them do it. It doesn't take up any mana. Unless you have an SK. If the SK is tanking their snare, their Clinging Darkness is how they hold aggro. Let them snare. What else? Oh, the 3rd dot. So you might do the health dot. I don't recommend it, but other people love it, and it works. The most important dot, your snare. Go with the. If you're not go with, in my opinion, you should use your lowest level snare, which is like level 1, level 2, level 4. Looks like level 4. Clinging Darkness. Any darkness line before that? Level 4 it is. Yay! We're so excited. Clinging Darkness is good enough. The mob, the only time you need the snare is when the mob turns and runs away. And if you're fighting undead, they don't turn and run away, so you don't need the snare. You don't want them to get too far. Clinging Darkness decreases movement by 21% to 50% at level 11. So if you're past level 11, that's a 50% snare. That's enough to kill it before it gets away. If you want, Boil Blood is in like your 30s. We're scrolling again. We're scrolling again. We are I have to talk really low when I do this. I'm watching. I listen to these videos afterwards. I watch them, and I see when my voice just overpowers the microphone, and I'm trying to not do that right now. We're scrolling again, folks. Yep, did it. Failed on that one. All right. Scent of Dust, Scent of whatever. That's Scent of Shadow. That is the debuff. Dooming Darkness. This is it. This is the one I was thinking of. Level 27. 35% to 94% at level 49. If you're in a group, this is the snare you want to use, Dooming Darkness. And I'm pointing at it, not with the pointer, but with my finger, because I'm stupid. I'm not stupid, I'm just used to talking to human beings. So yeah, Dooming Darkness. No wonder why I thought Boiling Blood was right in there. Boiling Blood is a fire-based dot, not a disease. I think it's disease. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Dooming Darkness could be magic-based. I don't know. That's the spell you're going to want memorized when you're in a group so that you can snare. The last dot you're going to use is your Heart Flutter line and any other debuff. The debuff is more important than the damage. You're putting it on there not... Yes, the damage is nice. You are putting it on there for the damage. But the main reason you're putting it on there is for the debuff. Okay? Heart Flutter, I don't know. There's Heart Attack, I think, is here somewhere. As I scroll through here, looking for it. Boy, isn't this exciting, folks. Scourge, that's just straight damage. Level 35, you use that for a while. It's a nice spell. Nice dot. Scent of Darkness, upgrade. Huh? You upgraded at 37? Look at that. Should see some heart line here. Assistote Dole. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm amused. And I have to cough. Decrease strength by 40. That'll make your melee mobs do a little bit less melee, huh? Decrease AC by 18. Lets your guys hit harder. And then, 62 hit points per tick. That'll do damage through probably the entire fight. That's when you should consider putting on. If your direct damage is, if you're bored, you got to... Most of the time, you're not going to be doing crowd control. They're looking for an enchanter. Most people don't think Necros know how to crowd control. Most people don't think Necros know how to group. So, lucky me, I got to come in here and give you an hour course on how to group as a Necro. Yeah. You're mostly there for damage. So you're sitting there doing damage. Consider putting on this line of disease dots. It's in Kunark, so it'll be in game. It's nice. Oh, here's your other line of direct damages. Am I on? I am. Let's scroll up a little so you can see it really well. It is a stun. It is a 1 second stun, so it's just an interrupt. You can't do anything with it. But Incinerate Bones decreases hit points by 450, max 500, and it stuns. At same level, you get Ignite Bones, and I think both of these you have to research, but I don't really care enough to go into it right now. You can look it up yourself. I believe in you. You can do it. This not only does the same amount of damage, but it maxes out much higher, and it turns your mob into a skeleton. Boy, you're never going to have a hard time knowing which mob is which. Why did they put Incinerate Bones into the game? I don't get it. Now I gotta look. I didn't want to look, but now I gotta look. I gotta do it now. I gotta see why they're different. Ignite Bones is clearly the better one. It not only turns them into a skeleton, it has a half-second stun, which is as good as the 1 second stun, and it does more damage. It just straight up does more damage. All right, let's see what we're doing here. And a stun. Maybe because they stack. Oh, recast time 12 seconds. Recast time 12 seconds. That's why. So you get 2 stuns at level 42. That both are really only interrupts. That's pretty nice. That's nice to know. They both do significant damage, and one turns the mob into a skeleton. Which will not work on like raid bosses, but it's pretty cool when you're fighting in the hole, and you would be around level 42, and you hit one of the golems, and suddenly there's a skeleton going like Skeletor. All right, that's all I got. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed all my derping around with the Transformer toys like I always do. Though this is the first video to feature Optimus Prime. I am Optimus Prime. I am the Prime Optimus, even though I'm from Transformers 1, and that was an okay movie. It was not great. It was fine. It was enjoyable. They tried to cram like 6 movies worth, no, like 3 movies worth of content into one movie. And frankly, Bumblebee was annoying. You know, I enjoy Key and Peele in limited amounts. I do not like Key in my Transformers. I found that out. I thought I would. It turns out I didn't. You done messed up, AA Ron! Sorry, that all went way past. Let's move the thing back. Let's try that again. You done messed up, AA Ron! See? Didn't break into the red on the microphone that time. Maybe I should keep it there all the time. Thanks for watching Blam Blam Truckers. We appreciate each and every one of you. If any of you happen to know how I can pitch movies to Warner Brothers for their DC line, or Star Trek, or Star Wars, or Harry Potter, or whatever. I could even do Lord of the Rings, even though I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I can do pretty much any IP if you give me enough time to learn about it. There are, after all, only really 25, 24 odd plot lines, and then character growth. It's not a formula, but there are aspects to it that are formulaic for story writing. And if you don't believe me, go watch Disney's Three Musketeers from the mid-90s. I think it was 93. Yeah, 93 sounds right. Sorry. Very formulaic movie. And really enjoyable. Really, a really good show. Good night, everybody. Good night. It's not even noon yet. It's almost noon. By the time you see this, it'll be afternoon on Saturday, May 23rd, 2026. Guys, you have a great day. Take care. Be safe. Keep on trucking, you blam blam truckers.